Hey, Martha, back.
We're back.
I'm back. You were here all along.
Well, the people will not know that there's been a break.
Yeah, but I'm back.
But you're back. And not tanned.
I am tanned. Fuck right off.
Just covered all up.
Look how tanned I am. This is tanned for me. I'm normally see-through.
Yeah, same. Oh, who am I to talk?
Yeah, and you can fake it and get away with it. If I rocked in with a fake tan,
I think you could do that.
I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Pre-Orlando.
Yeah, spray tan.
And white teeth.
Why don't we all do group spray tan?
Yes. Not at the same time.
No, but we could set up a spray tan tent in there.
Oh, I bet someone would come out and do that, actually.
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious. It'd be good content.
Yeah, it would.
Horrifying.
Because you can get like little stickers and you could get
I've got a story.
Oh, what?
We'll save it for a bit, but remind me to tell you about my massage story on.
Oh, is it not podcast friendly?
Travels. No. I'll talk about it in a second, but we should probably set the scene for what we're about to talk about.
Intro the pod.
So we're talking about they were winning and they still left. Basically, why great results aren't enough, and this is born out of me having a bit of a fever dream whilst I was travelling.
What was your fever dream?
Well, for the people that don't know, I've just been to Borneo with my wife. It was on her bucket list to see orangutans in the wild. And she's actually been to Sumatra before, but she got dengue fever and spent 2 weeks in a hotel room and didn't see any orangutans. So it was a big, big deal for us to go. And it was also over my birthday. We were going to do this big jungle trek on my birthday where you might see orangutans, go up to this viewpoint in the Danang Valley. And apparently the rainforest is so dense on this viewpoint, it looks like water because it's just like unbelievable. Except for the fact that I got ill the night before with some sort of weird
Dengue
jungle fever. It wasn't dengue fever.
Pulled a hammer.
Dengue fever like can put you away. I didn't think I was dying.
On the ground?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, real bad.
Oh.
Real bad.
Oh, I was thinking like COVID type symptoms.
Well, that can also kill you, Muff.
Well, yeah, okay. Have we not learned anything
Yeah,
in the past 4 years?
But no, worse. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. And you start coming out in bruises and stuff, and horrible. So it wasn't that, but I was in a bad way. But I couldn't tell Hannah how bad a way I was in because I didn't want to ruin the holiday. And then woke up on my birthday, and it was like too obvious. I'd say I've got to stay in bed today.
What was the bed? Was it like a nice bit?
So Danang Valley, which is the second bit of rainforest we went to, you're like 3 hours from the nearest road, like proper road, and they've built this rainforest lodge, and it's quite fancy. It's all eco and solar panels and like solar heated water and recycling and stuff. But like,
do you have a toilet that flushes?
And a shower. It's pretty bougie.
Because I was imagining you in the rainforest ill in like a bunk bed.
No. The people with like dollar, like the high rollers that were there, they had hot tubs on their balcony overlooking the rainforest.
Really?
All like eco.
Yeah.
But yeah, by hot tub I mean like a tub, not a jacuzzi. There's no bubbles or anything because of the power. But yeah, it was a bougie place. Like Wills and Kate stayed there. So,
oh, okay. Right.
So like we were roughing it at this point. We'd stayed with a tribe earlier in the trip, but I had a nice.
You didn't like their house?
The tribe house. Did I tell you about the tribe house? The long house. Oh God, this podcast's going to be bizarre. So the Headhunter tribe I think they're called the Bayou tribe in northern Borneo. They live in long houses where they just add another room and another room and another room, and like they can be up to 750 meters long. And
you have to walk through, or do they have their own doors?
So the inside is like one long corridor on the left-hand side, and then there's a door on the right. And the parents and the daughters stay in the rooms, and the sons just sleep out in the corridor.
So I like it.
And like there's no privacy, but that's their culture. And there's not many of them live like that anymore. They've built like modern equivalents. But we stayed in one of them whilst we were there. That was quite...
Were you in the corridor?
Well, no, they let us have because we were a
Sounds
married
like
couple. We were allowed a room. Anyway, yeah, I wasn't.
If you're not married, are they not into that?
I don't know.
Because some places you go, you have to be married, don't you, to share a room?
Well, to marry someone from that tribe, you have to go and chop the head off someone else's tribe and bring it to them and present it to them. So
didn't fancy that.
Yeah, I wasn't into that. And they were saying, "Oh, we haven't done that for 200 years. We haven't done that for 200 years." And I looked it up, and like the last recording of it happening was like 1990. I was like, "Well, that's That's
one
not
of you?
200 years
Yeah,
ago.
you're
You
still
know
alive.
someone who's chopped someone's head off. So it's quite fascinating. I love all that stuff. But yeah, anyway. No, I had a fairly nice bed. You didn't have proper aircon because it was eco-friendly. So it was like air recirculation. So it was warm. But, you know, when you get poorly and you start ruminating on all the negative in your life, you can't not.
Yeah.
Like, you can't think happy thoughts anymore because you're just like, oh, fuck's sake, just kill me now.
Yeah.
Even though it's just like a cold.
If I don't wake up tomorrow, good.
Yeah. So I started going over all the things I've done wrong in life and all the things that are like might not be working at Code Break and clients that have left and how is it my fault? And I was thinking about one particular client that's left quite recently where we were getting them like an 18x return on their ad spend and they still left. And I was like, you know, if I was feeling cocky and confident and not ill, I'd be like, well, that's not my fault. They're just stupid. But then ill Joel had a moment of clarity and was like, no, that is your fault.
Yeah, ultimately.
Because you're not painting the picture of the roadmap of how to scale that and how to make that exciting and what a good result it is. And so they're just thinking in terms of revenue. Now, from a marketing perspective, you could have an 18x campaign, and if you've only spent 100 quid on it, the most you're going to get back is 1,800 quid. Well, 1,800 quid probably doesn't pay the bills for most businesses. So the marketing agency saying, yeah, but it's amazing, it's 18x, means nothing. What needed to happen was us to say to them, look, this is 18x, you need to scale this to the moon. It might drop to 16x, but if you're spending 10 grand a month on it and getting 1.6 million back or 160 grand back or whatever the maths is, 160 grand back, you'll be delighted. But we didn't do that because we wrongly assumed that they understood that.
Yeah.
And I think that's a common thing in business is like, if you're an accountant and you get someone their tax return and their end of year and their personal tax all well on time, like months and months before deadline, and it's all presented neatly, it's all ready for sign off, and you pop in and, you know, have a coffee with them and talk them through it, that's probably better than 9 out of 10 accountants. But unless you tell them, they won't know.
Yeah, because you just expect.
Yeah, you just think
if
you're
you've
doing
got
your
no
job.
context, as to what is good and what's bad. If we're the first marketing agency you've ever used, you'd be like, well, you'd be in for a shock if you.
Yeah. So and ultimately they could be like, I've only made 1,800 quid. This isn't sustainable. So no, you haven't. You've made an 18x return. You need to scale. But if you don't know, you don't know. And like the accountant that doesn't tell people that it's unusual for you to get things 6 months in advance for them to pop in and talk you through it. If you don't tell them, they won't know. And
it's hard, isn't it? Because you don't want to come across like icky, like you're bashing other people. Like,
yeah,
oh,
but
yeah,
you've
but
got
Sally.
You can't forget that you have to keep marketing yourself even when someone becomes a customer.
Yeah, we've actually done this for a client recently, haven't we? Where we've literally done a checklist for them to be like, this is what we do, tick, tick, tick. Other companies, cross. No, it doesn't feel as icky, but it very clearly says.
Yeah, these are all the things you get included with our package that you probably don't get included with
the cheapest package.
Our leading rivals packages or whatever, And like this is what we've done above and beyond what's expected within the scope of our service. But if you don't tell people, they won't know. And equally, like, if the client has moved the goalposts or done something that is technically a breach of the arrangement, if you don't tell them, they won't know. And so that,
and then you can't go back 6 months later and say, but in month 2
you did this, you turned your website off. Yeah. Well, that was a critical part of our strategy. Well, why did you carry on for another 4 months then and not tell me? And yeah, fair play. So, yeah, that was my fever dream.
At the moment of like, was it like a?
No, it was like, fucking hell, I feel ill. I wish I could see an orangutan.
I thought this had come about because we've got a lot of like internal staff one-to-ones happening.
What does that mean?
Well, because in your notes you've written, is it because of me?
Oh, I see. No, didn't.
So I thought this podcast was going a different way.
We thought I was going to hammer you.
I thought you were going to sack me live. Yeah.
We can do that if you want.
Yeah, that would be a great.
Welcome to your annual appraisal.
Yeah.
Defend yourself. Go.
You have 10 seconds before I hit the ejector seat button.
Yeah. I fucking had it with you making excuses behind closed doors. We're going public. Go.
I actually never I rarely make excuses.
All right. It does make for a very funny joke if I say I fucking had it with you being so...
shit, but owning it.
Owning up to all of your accountability. So, yeah, I think, like, there's just that, like, real core thing of, like, understanding where your customers are at and not taking for granted what you're doing for them because you do it every day.
Yeah. And giving context, like, so, like, one that we do would be a good open rate is considered 20%.
Yeah.
40%, you might be like, oh shit, 60% of my lifts aren't opening my emails. But in context of what everybody else is doing, that's good.
Yeah, exactly. Like a 1% click-through rate is average. So if you're getting a 1.5% click-through rate when you're getting 1 million hits a day,
it's a big difference.
It's a massive difference. Yeah, you're 50% better than the average. But if you don't tell people, they don't know. And we're all guilty of it because it's quite hard to, like, blow smoke up your own arse as well. It's quite hard to say to people, like, we're fucking good at this.
Yeah.
And then also, if you're having those problems, you probably haven't framed what success looks like. So you need to know from your clients, be it marketing, accounting, plumbing, makeup, what does a good result look like to you? Because if they turn around and say, I need to make £1 million in the next 2 months, and you're turning around and saying, well, you spent £100 on ads, but good news, 18x.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's not £1 million. Yeah. So I think it's like knowing that it's not just about delivering results, but like creating a compelling vision of what's next. Like, what's the next step? What are we about to do next? What's exciting? And we fall into this trap quite a lot where we get stuck in the doing when really once a week we should be reminding every customer, and look what's coming up. Look what's next. Look what we've got in line. I mean, I've just been doing some work on this now for one of our clients who's a printer. I've sent some stuff to Scott of like, we need to roadmap what we're doing. He needs to see what's exciting and what's coming.
Yeah.
Because right now it's a bit stagnant because of the nature of what he does. So let's paint the picture of all the things we're going to put in place to improve it.
Yeah.
There's some sort of like wrestling match going on upstairs.
Every time we do a podcast.
Yeah, today they've decided they're going to throw each other around upstairs. So
if you knew the people that worked upstairs as well, that would be so funny.
Yeah, well, yeah, to frame it, they're like a peaceful charity for old people. Quite square, I'd say. And they're definitely not wrestling. So, and then the other thing to consider is people want outcomes, but they're not loyal to outcomes. They're loyal to the journey. They're loyal to the trajectory. So everyone thinks they want to be rich, and then they get rich, and
they're not happy.
They enjoyed the journey, not the being rich. But the sort of inverse of that is if you're helping someone get rich, they're not loyal to the outcome because they haven't got it yet. They're loyal to the trajectory. Yep. So you've got to make it's a hard word to say, trajectory compelling and exciting. And if it isn't, they're going to lose interest. And then that's when someone like me moans, oh, fucking entrepreneurs, they've just got shiny object syndrome. They're like a fucking magpie. They get scupped from one thing to the next. Well, yeah, because the trajectory that's being painted by person B over there is more compelling and exciting than me saying, look, we just need to blog once a week, every week for the next 12 months, and you will see traction. That might be true, but it's boring as fuck.
Yeah.
So you need to make it more... Right, actually, I'm going to interview you once a week to get the best nuggets out of your brain and put it on the page. That sounds a lot better than you need to blog once a week.
Yeah, and then the diary interview with...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, make it more interesting. So there's various ways this shows up. You still haven't asked me about that massage, by the way.
Oh, yeah, tell me.
Okay, we can go now.
How does this show up within a massage? What picture did they paint when you got on the bed?
They didn't. So we got a message from the place we were staying at the end of the trip. So we were staying somewhere quite fancy at the end of the trip, a Shangri-La hotel.
With aircon?
Definitely with aircon and with a hot tub on the balcony. But an actual hot tub looking out over the sea. It was wicked, apart from I was ill. And they sent through the spa menu before we got there. And you're in Malaysia, so it's not like wildly expensive. And I hadn't had any birthday presents, so I was like, well, I'll get a massage for my birthday, see if that makes me feel a bit better. You could get like a aromatherapy add-on to have like citrus and stuff to try and get rid of my cold and whatever. And you fill in the questionnaire, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh, this is cool. I've only ever had a couple of massages in my life. I'm not like that excited about people touching me. It's a bit...
They hurt as well.
They do hurt, yeah. And I got there and the lady passed me a little packet and she said, put these on. And it said disposable underwear on the packet. And they were definitely Malaysian sizes.
Yeah.
It was like mesh.
Yeah, I've had one before in spa in the UK actually.
And they gave you mesh underwear.
Well, because I was in like my swimming costume,
Yeah.
and they were like, "Oh, but you're gonna get colder. It's gonna be uncomfortable. Like, you can just chuck these on if you want." And I did.
Yeah, this was the most revealing pair of underwear I've ever put on.
Yeah, it's not.
It was quite funny.
Yeah, well, you're not. You get under yourself, don't you?
Yeah, I didn't just stand there waiting for it to come back.
Yeah.
Not an animal. No, I'm quite discreet, but I was just like, Hannah's going to find this hilarious when I show her these
Did you
pants
keep them?
afterwards. Yeah, just to show her. Didn't try them on again. She was like, how did you even get into those? I'm like, I don't know. It was a skill.
Why didn't you just keep on what you were? I don't think it's a requirement, is it? You don't have.
She was like pretty insistent.
Well, I bet she was.
Not in a sexy way. It was just like, she was just like, put these on. And she said it with such authority that I was like, yes, boss.
Yeah. What do you get, with full body or back?
I had
shoulders?
it was like a Swedish aromatherapy massage. So it was full body. It wasn't that rough. It did hurt, but
you realise you've got like tight calves or stuff
God.
you don't even know.
Especially when you've been trekking for 2 weeks. Like, I had knots everywhere, and she was like getting her elbows in. And
You feel good after, but you have to be careful about some because it releases the toxins into your body, doesn't it? From like the knots.
well, does it though?
Yeah, your piss stinks
Your piss stings.
after a sports massage.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and you have to like not do anything too crazy because you can get like really lightheaded.
I had a 3-hour nap.
Yes, probably why toxins were like bleeding out of you.
I felt great. I just went and lay on a sunbed by the pool in the shade. Had a nap. Woke up. Saw a monitor lizard. Saw a snake. Went
Standard.
for lunch. Normal. So yeah, I'm not sure how I can loosely link that into this story, but basically she painted the picture that I would be relaxed. I believed her, and I was.
Yeah.
Good job.
What was the form for? Just to, like, are you
Got
pregnant?
Blood pressure, pregnant, neck pain.
I bet she did that.
It's like, would you prefer a massage from a man or a woman or not bothered? I just put not bothered. I was like, I don't know. I mean,
I guess that's probably in
for women more than men.
Yeah, but some religions you're not supposed to touch the opposite sex, are you? Like men and women.
Oh yeah, that was an interesting thing about Borneo. Is it's like very multicultural.
Is it? There's
So
no,
it's
like,
quite Islamic. But there's a lot of Christians too. Quite a lot of non-denomination. Some Sikhs, some Hindus. It was a really like melting pot of. So yeah, it could be that. It could be like that's culturally not sound.
or maybe like the men are shit.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, it just didn't bother me. I was just like, I'm not bothered. Also, sat next to my wife on the plane as I'm filling that form out.
Yeah,
If
woman.
I tick woman, it's going to look well dodgy. So, yeah. But no, I guess that's where they were good, is that they started marketing to me before I got there, saying you need to book your spa treatment because it's busy before you arrive.
Creating FOMO.
Yeah, and I didn't think of that at the time. I thought they were just being honest. But
Was it
then
busy?
I was the only person in the spa, so it got me. And then when you arrived, they gave you a lemon water and a cold scented towel to like wipe your face, which I thought was a nice touch. Then they told you everything that will happen. So they painted the picture, how you'll feel at the end, not to do anything strenuous afterwards. And then afterwards, they gave me a lemon water again and a cold towel and then a ginger tea. And then they set me on my merry way.
Did they want you to shower before?
Yeah.
Yeah, but did they make it feel like it was a benefit to you and not them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They put like some aromatherapy shit in the bottom of the shower.
Yeah. And being like, yeah, because they want you to shower so that you're not
grubby.
Not you necessarily, but yeah, but
I find people generally very clean there, very clean compared to here.
Even in the jungle.
Well, I mean, you have to have about 5 showers a day in the jungle, normally with a bucket. So
yeah, when I saw a photo of you and you were in like long trousers, long top, I just thought, can't even wear a t-shirt in Cyprus, let alone a long sleeve top.
To be honest, with the leeches and the insects,
you don't want to risk it.
Fucking grateful of long trousers and a long top, and the amount of DEET I was covered in. And DEET is nasty stuff.
So you just had to do like the wrist.
You put it on your clothes because it can get you through clothes, especially the leeches. The leeches got me through 2 pairs of socks.
I don't think you could pay me to do that.
You don't feel it, not the leeches. You feel the mozzies and the sandflies.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I wanted to get leeched. I told Hannah before we got there, I was like, I hope I get leeched.
Just like slowly lifting up your trousers.
Just to like
Leechy.
Well, the leech had gone by the time I looked, but I was bleeding a lot, and I was just like, yeah, that's a badge of honour.
Yeah, I feel like you should get like a patch to stick on.
I got a certificate. Have you not seen my certificate? Oh, I put it on socials. Yeah, they gave me a certificate of notification for donating to the Dannon Valley Rainforest Blood Fund.
That's smart. I like it.
That's well funny, yeah. But yeah, there was sort of a lot of lessons from that trip around like painting the picture, telling people what's coming next. Like we were on an itinerary, and so especially the first half. So through a company called we booked our trip through Trailfinders, who were very good, but then they subbed out the first bit to Intrepid, who were like known for like kind of adventure travel and stuff. And like night 1, you had a briefing with your guide, and he went through everything you're going to do, told you all the safety stuff, all the risks, what's happening if you get bit by a snake, blah 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 blah.
Is that when they told you about pirates?
Yeah, what to do if you get abducted by pirates.
What do you do?
Just like ring out on your phone to the it's 999 in Borneo.
Is it
easy? Ring out on your phone and just hide your phone.
And do what they say.
Yeah, they were like, it's very unlikely this will happen, but if this happens, do this. Fucking hell. But then what it transpired is, because some of the locals are poor, they've been selling tourists to the pirates.
Okay, so like you stay at a guest house and it's like...
And wake up and you're not there anymore. Yeah. But we were on an organised trip. So, yeah, he painted the picture, told us what we're going to do on what day and when our meal times will be, what meals are included, what meals aren't included, how much to tip people. Did we want to do a kitty for the tips so that we didn't have to worry about it? Yes, we do.
I saw your story on that.
That was another thing. We'll get onto that. So this was a kitty for the tips for the individual things we were doing throughout. The thing you're referring to is the tip for the actual guide. Just drove me fucking mental.
Oh, so he never said, tip me?
No, you just do. And then, yeah, every day in the evening when you have dinner, he'd tell you what you're going to do the next day. So nothing ever came as a surprise, and anticipation was always built. And to be fair, that is a solid lesson for any business. To be like, people don't like surprises. They do like to know what's coming next. If you can make that exciting, even better. Yeah. And like, that goes for everything from like, obviously a wedding business, really obvious. What's going to happen and when? When's my cake showing up? When's the DJ going to play the first dance? Da, 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 da. But those exact same rules apply to a funeral, even though it's a sad situation. Yeah. And no one wants uncertainty at a funeral. Oh, shit, they've started cremating him. We haven't even done the service yet. Like, that would be a nightmare, wouldn't it? So, like, if you think about that with your business, what time am I going to show up? Do they know what time I'm going to show up? What can they expect when I show up? What am I going to present them with? What questions am I going to ask them? Can they prepare for those questions beforehand? Suddenly you're like unraveling something that could be quite intimidating to someone and making it nice and easy. Like for an accountant, this is gold because everyone who doesn't like numbers is scared of their accountant. So if you can make it all feel easy and like predefined.
Yeah. Yeah, I had this with sorting out my mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know I hadn't even logged in to look at my mortgage in the last 2 years. Yeah. And like, I knew what I needed to have before the call. That was really helpful because I could just imagine if I was sat on there like trying to log into this thing and
Yeah.
what's my 3-letter password, what was my memorable word that they have so many specifications about, it becomes impossible for it to become memorable. But like we got there and then I could actually get the result I wanted because I had the numbers that I needed. I wasn't like, oh, well, I think I spend about 50 quid a week on shopping. Like it was good. But I love it when someone says to me, do I need to prep anything for this? Like, do I need to prep anything for this meeting?
We need to remember that for every meeting we've got, send people a prep list. Just template it. Because it's so helpful to people.
Yeah.
I've got someone coming in today and they messaged me yesterday, do I need to prep anything? And it's like, you shouldn't be having to ask me. I should have told you.
But then sometimes, like, I'll sign before an onboard and put, cool, please have access to this, please have access to this. And then we get on the call and they're like on their iPhone. I'm like, just please be a computer.
You can't, sometimes you can't cure stupid. Yeah. But the same applies to like team members. So you've got your appraisal this week. We've referenced it on here. It's not live now and you're not getting sacked. But if you can't see a plan for your future in what we're discussing, there's a risk you'd leave. Oh, sorry, Martha. There's no pay rises here for the next 5 years. We're having a 5-year pay freeze. We won't be doing any training, and you've got to work from the cupboard moving forward.
Well, who had a pay freeze? Was it like the NHS or something? They've had a pay freeze.
Teachers did, didn't they?
And now it's like
NHS,
now nobody wants to be a teacher.
Yeah, well, we'll get political here, but we've falsely been told that inflation isn't as high as it has been. So the cost of living has wildly exceeded inflation. So, like, shopping costs twice as much as it did 10 years ago.
Well, I got off the price of a pint.
Yes.
Which when I started,
it's like £5.50 for a pint now,
like
right?
£3.
Yeah, and when I went to uni, it was £1.
And now it's £6.
Yeah. So you
can't even get 2 pints for a tenner.
A pint for £1 20 years ago. Fucking, I went to uni 20 years ago. That's disgusting. Has just been my birthday though. Yeah, and now £5.50. So not everything's gone up 5.5 times, but it has gone up 3 times.
Yeah.
Well, wages haven't. So the inflation calculation is manipulated. It's bollocks. It's just making it look like we're not in a recession or whatever. And so you freeze people's pay, and not only is 10 grand this year not worth as much as 10 grand last year, but the cost of everything's going up as well. And then they're shocked when they can't get teachers and nurses. Like, are you fucking joking me? Like, we had to go through that where, like, the business struggled through COVID, and then it's been a bit of a, rough seas for a couple of years before we managed to get back on track. It's not like people can't have promotions and pay rises. They'll leave, and then I'll be really fucked. So you just have to, like, paint the picture. You have to show people. And yes, sometimes pay rises can't happen. So what are they getting instead? Can you make the environment brilliant? Can you plan amazing company outings? Can you
give them their birthday off?
Yeah, I forgot I've given you all that.
I don't know if people are. I don't know when anyone's birthday is actually.
No, but I just added an extra day's holiday to all your holiday allowances. So if you don't want to take it,
I think you should have your birthday off. I personally think you should be grateful for another year, and you should just do.
I like birthdays.
I love my birthday.
Like,
that's because I'm
I've
inherently
never gone,
selfish.
I'm another year older.
Jason, though, couldn't give a shit. Couldn't give a flying.
Is that because you're rubbish at presents?
I'm not rubbish at presents.
No, I'm asking. Is it because you're rubbish?
He doesn't. Well, what do you get? The person who's got every. He's like you. If he wants something, he buys it, and then he's not. Like, you're a bit easy though because you're quite sentimental. If I made Jason a card, he would laugh in my face. I feel like if I made you a card, you'd be grateful.
I'd be well grateful if someone made me a card. That'd be ace.
Jason'd be like, what the fuck is this? And it would be terrible.
If you made me a card, I'd be fucking stunned.
Yeah.
I'd be like blown away. I'd be like, fucking hell, Martha. This is the least Martha thing I've ever seen. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, birthdays don't bother me. I never go, oh God, I'm another year older.
I am looking forward to my birthday like a month out. Actually, today it's the 20th. I was like, oh, it's the date of my birthday. Just like 5 months to go.
Only another, what is it, 9 months to go.
Yeah, it may. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, January, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So once Boxing Day, you're on the countdown to your birthday.
If I want to have a baby on my birthday, I got to start now.
Okay. It's your appraisal this week.
I don't want a baby. I've never had that feeling. I want a dog though.
What do you mean you don't want a baby?
Oh, like, I don't know.
You're not maternal yet.
No. Does that happen? I don't know. I can't. Can you imagine me holding a baby right now?
Yeah, but I never I hate that. Like, obviously just made a joke then, but everyone, male or female, should feel like they have the opportunity to.
As in, like money.
Like, not under pressure from their employer or society or their friends or family. Just that opportunity is there for them if that's what they want. Me and Hannah don't have kids out of choice, but I would never, ever want someone to think, oh, it's career or baby or life or baby, or like, that's horrendous.
Yeah. We don't even have the lifestyle for a dog right now. But then someone did say to me the other day, you can take babies more places than dogs. I'm not sure that's true anymore. Because you can take a dog into a pub, but you probably can't take a baby.
I remember someone, this is awful, hopefully they don't listen. Someone I know had quite recently had a baby, but they loved going to the cinema. So they took their baby to the cinema because they wanted to go to the cinema. The baby obviously cried because it's loud, and then some people complained, and so they did this big fucking hoo-ha on social about, just because I've got a baby doesn't mean I shouldn't be able to go to the cinema. And it didn't go well for them.
Yeah, because it's quite loud, isn't it?
Well, it's too loud for the baby. Maybe they put earmuffs on the baby or something. But yes, everyone should be entitled to go to the cinema, but you do have to have consideration for others. That's just how life is. You have to make concessions.
Were there any children on your trip?
Not on ours, but we did encounter other people on similar trips with kids.
Yeah.
But they were all teenagers, no young kids.
Yeah, was there like a 16?
It would have been brutal for little kids.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Yeah, but they're kind of not aware, are they?
If I can would be. If I can would be.
I don't know what I'm fucking talking about. I don't know anything about anything.
When you're absolutely boiling, sweating, bleeding, and then someone's telling you, look at that hornbill, and you've no fucking clue what it is.
It's the rarest bird in the world.
That one was, yeah, the helmeted hornbill, yeah. But like, you've got to be into it. Like, I'm into it.
Is Zazu a hornbill?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. You didn't look like the one you showed me.
No, he's like an African hornbill.
Okay, less rare.
There's loads of different hornbills. Like, one of them, the main one in Borneo is the rhinoceros hornbill, which people wouldn't know if they saw it. The helmeted hornbill, literally hardly anyone in the world's ever seen. So he was really lucky.
Jocelyn.
I've seen it. I've fucking seen it.
I want to revisit the question on orangutans that I had. Solitary animals.
Oh, weirdly, someone messaged me about this, saying, did you learn about with orangutans, the solitary or in groups? Normally solitary, apart from if they're young, but sometimes they befriend each other and just hang out together.
Oh, that's nice.
It's cool, isn't it? And then at the sanctuary, because it's a common source of food, they hang out together and cooperate. And the cool thing about the sanctuary at Sepalok was that wild orangutans can come in too. It's not enclosed. And so there's a dominant male who was massive.
Was he?
He just came in and sat in the middle. And I didn't know what he was doing. And then one of the people there said, just watch. And all the other orangutans were coming and getting their food. And the reason the dominant male sat in the middle was to stop the macaques coming and stealing the orangutans' food.
Oh, okay.
And he just sat there and refereed. That's fucking cool.
I thought you were going to say he'd come for a one night stand.
Oh, that too.
That's effectively what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then if they're all in the same area, is there a risk that they breed with each other?
No, they know, I think. They're smart.
Yeah, they are.
I was reading about all sorts of stuff, like they chew up certain plants and put it in their wounds because it's antiseptic.
Wow.
Fucking mad. And they use tools and stuff. I reckon, as soon as you get back in your boat and fuck off, they're just having a party.
I like that.
Just normal, yeah. Just chilling, chatting to each other.
Do you reckon you could teach an orangutan to do the middle finger?
They taught them sign language.
Oh, yes, that was a chimp, wasn't it?
They're both, yeah, both.
And they have the massive. Did he have the massive
male
face?
one, the big male one did. Yeah.
That must have been scary.
They're like
what was
jowls. And I got within the same distance to meet you and I are now of a mum and a baby, because it was walking around the sanctuary, and the guide like stood in the way, but he just walked past. That was cool.
Because safety for you, or because we want you to like reach.
Marv, we need to stop yabbing.
Sorry, yeah. Back.
So, what do people need to do differently to make sure that even when they're getting people a result, they don't leave?
Well, reporting it for one, like
Tell
tell
them what's next.
And give them context as to what everybody else is doing.
Make it all visible, like make it clear, and then
nobody wants to read a 10-page report.
I think the mistake people make is they don't re-enroll people in the vision of why you started doing what you were doing in the first place. And so then they get bored and want to do something else, or they lose kind of attention. And then also talk to people about what happens when this starts to work. When this starts working, this is what we'll do next. And when that starts working, this is what we'll do next. So, mic drop moment. People don't leave because they're losing. They leave because they can't see what winning leads to.